On any busy manufacturing floor, the risk of physical injury is a daily reality. The machinery moves fast, and an accident can happen anytime. When an injury occurs, the Delaware Workers' Compensation Act establishes a specific baseline rule. You, the employer, possess the primary legal right to designate the treating physician. Many states allow the injured employee to choose their own doctor from day one. Delaware laws are written differently. The statute places the employer in the primary position to direct the medical care from the moment the injury is reported. Retaining that right means you retain operational control. You decide whether an employee enters a managed, data-driven return-to-work program or whether they take an extended period of unmanaged time off. However, possessing a legal right on paper yields zero financial protection if you fail to operationalize it the precise moment an incident takes place. Consider a standard manufacturing plant. A worker suffers a minor strain, bypasses company protocols, and drives to their personal doctor for an evaluation. A few days later, the plant's payroll department received a small invoice for that initial checkup. It is a minor administrative expense, so the employer processes the payment without raising an objection. This split-screen timeline illustrates the legal consequence of that single payment. By paying that initial invoice, the employer has established a catastrophic precedent for the remainder of the claim. That small transaction legally dictates the cost and duration of the entire workers' compensation case. The plant no longer has a say in the recovery timeline. In Delaware, administrative inaction on a first medical bill operates as legal consent to the employee's choice of doctor. This side-by-side illustration compares two distinctly different environments for treatment. On the left, a standard family medical practice. On the right, an occupational therapy clinic. A family doctor operates with a specific goal in mind: overall patient comfort. When treating a workplace injury, their default methodology is frequently to prescribe blanket, unmanaged time off work until the patient feels fully rested. An occupational medicine specialist relies on an entirely different operational concept: functional capacity. Functional capacity is the precise medical science of assessing an injured worker's physical abilities and limitations. It measures exactly what a patient can safely do in order to match them back to specific job duties. By utilizing functional capacity criteria, an Occ-Med specialist builds a modified return-to-work plan. They prioritize active recovery and safe integration back into the workforce over default bed rest. This comparison chart demonstrates the operational outcomes of those two philosophies. The family doctor path leads directly to 100% time off, while the Occ-Med specialist path yields modified DITI and a staged return to work. When you allow an employee to choose their own physician, you inherently shift the medical focus away from proactive work recovery and toward indefinite rest, effectively driving up the final cost of the claim. Let us return to our manufacturing plant to examine the legal fallout of their decision to pay that initial unauthorized invoice. They have fallen into a legal mechanism known as implicit authorization. The trigger for implicit authorization is simple. If you receive notification that an employee has sought unauthorized care and you do not immediately and formally object, the Delaware courts will assume you have consented to that provider. Employers often take a wait-and-see approach to determine if the injury is serious. Under the law, waiting to see what the doctor says is identical to surrendering your right to direct treatment entirely. This 48-hour timeline maps the rapidly closing window of opportunity. The moment an injury event occurs, the clock starts. You have until the 24-hour mark to issue a formal objection. Once the clock crosses that 24-hour deadline without a written objection, the error is permanent. You are locked into that specific doctor's care plan. You are now financially responsible for all subsequent bills and every day of extended time off. Insurance carriers and state workers' compensation bureaus process these claims strictly based on documentation. If there is no written objection filed in the system, they will automatically default to the employee's chosen doctor. Implicit authorization is a direct, irreversible administrative penalty caused purely by an employer's delayed response. Protecting your legal right to direct medical care cannot be improvised on the fly. The defense must be architected well before an injury ever occurs. The immediate aftermath of a severe workplace incident is chaotic and high pressure. Your team is focused entirely on securing the site and ensuring worker safety. If you wait until the ambulance is called to decide where the injured worker goes for follow-up care, your medical control is already irrevocably lost. Defense Step 1 requires pre-establishing a formal, contractual relationship with an occupational medicine clinic. This partner clinic must explicitly utilize functional capacity protocols. A general urgent care facility will not suffice. The clinic must specialize in the science of returning employees to work. Defense Step 2 is implementing a strict 24-hour written objection protocol to automatically counter any unauthorized care the moment it is discovered. This logic tree compares a failed claim against a successfully defended one. The top branch maps the wait-and-see approach, ending in the red implicit authorization trap. The bottom branch utilizes rapid intervention. By executing the 24-hour written objection, you legally override the initial choice of physician, routing them back to your selected Occ-Med provider. The Delaware statute provides the authority to dictate care, but that authority is useless without these two pre-built administrative triggers ready to fire the exact moment an injury is reported. The reality of the Delaware doctrine is straightforward. The law heavily favors the employer, but it only protects the employer who takes immediate, documented action. The financial stakes are severe. Paying a single unauthorized medical bill permanently inflates the trajectory of your workers' compensation costs. Your insurance carrier is powerless to defend your right to direct care if you fail to provide them with the necessary 24-hour written documentation. To secure your statutory rights, implement this compliance checklist today. First, verify your medical clinic partner utilizes objective functional capacity assessments. Second, draft your 24-hour written objection template and save it. During an injury, there's no time to consult legal counsel. Implementing these protocols guarantees that when an injury occurs, your response is driven by an organized, highly functional administrative process, leaving no room for error. These two administrative steps establish Delaware workers' compensation as a strictly managed, cost-controlled business